So today I'm heading to my first solo camping trip in a campground situated on top of a hill 1,600 feet above sea level. Going on this quite dangerous, very steep zigzag road to get there is part of the experience, I guess. This 5-mile nerve-wracking drive felt like 10 miles to me, especially when I'm passing by those broken fences. Usually, I let my husband drive these kinds of roads, but this time, I'm mustering up the courage to do it because for the first time in a long time, probably in the last 10 years or so, I'll be alone in the next 24 hours. So welcome to my first camping vlog. I decided to go to this campground because it's not very far from my home, and I really liked my campsite because I can clearly see the peak of Mount Hamilton, which is the highest mountain in the Bay Area, and on top of it sits an observatory that opened in 1888. I also love that I'm surrounded by these beautiful small and mid-sized oak trees and rolling hills full of them. I was kind of surprised though to learn that I was the only one in this entire campground throughout the time that I was here. I really thought that I'll have some neighbors, but apparently the only company that I had were the birds, the critters, and the crickets at night. So right after I settled in, I started taking videos for the detailed camper tour that I did, and I don't know how that took almost 2 hours to complete, but by the time I got done, the sun was setting fast, so I decided to start cooking dinner right away, hoping to finish before it gets dark. I originally was going to cook some Peruvian chicken, and I brought all the ingredients with me. However, when I checked the chicken that I brought, it was still frozen. So because I knew I didn't have enough time to thaw and cook all that before it gets really dark, I opted for a quick alternative, which is rice and canned tuna. While I waited for the rice to cook, which usually takes around 20 minutes, I decided to take a brief walk around, watch the sun go down, and the hills be enveloped by the shadows created by the sunset. I love sunsets, and it's always my favorite time of the day, and I was also quite happy to have captured my very first ever time-lapse. I decided to not set up campfire or eat outside for this night because it just felt a little creepy being the only one there in the campground and in the dark. So instead, I decided to eat inside and just hang out there for the rest of the night. And to be honest, I was also just really excited to spend my first night inside the car with all the lights and curtains set up. So after the frozen chicken incident, another disappointing thing happened. Originally, I wanted to watch a movie while having dinner, so I brought a DVD movie and a DVD player with me. But as I was setting it up, I realized that I did not have any DVD software to play the movie. I was pretty bummed out over that, but thankfully there were other things that I was able to do on my computer to kill some 2 hours of time before bedtime. So before I went to bed, I took this shot to show you what it looks like inside my car at night, and I love how these lights make it feel so cozy. I just wish that I have a fan because it was definitely a very, very warm night. Thankfully, I grew up in a tropical country somewhere in Asia where it was either warm or hot, so I'm kind of used to it. I think I mentioned it in my first video that I love the sound of chirping birds so much that I made it my alarm clock sound. But this morning, it wasn't my alarm clock that woke me up, but actual birds twittering and singing their morning song right above me. It was definitely very lovely. Around 9:30, I decided to make coffee and cook brunch using the rice left over from last night. So for this morning, it's gonna be garlic rice, sunny side up, and sausages. As you watch me cook here in the video, let me tell you a little bit about how this solo car camping journey started for me. One day, as I was watching van life videos here on YouTube, I came across this solo female van lifer from Canada, and in one of her older videos, she revealed that she's a wife and a mom just like me, but she takes the weekends to travel alone in her self-converted camper van. And it wasn't really until then that this idea of weekend solo camping came to mind. I've seen a lot of videos before of people converting their SUVs so they can live in it full time, but for some reason it took me a while to realize that I don't have to live in it full time to make an SUV camper conversion worth it or worth trying. When I shared these thoughts with my husband, surprisingly, he was supportive of it, as long as I don't go too far and be gone for too long. And as for leaving him with our 2 kids, he's always been a good dad, so I wasn't worried about that part at all. Anyway, after we talked, you could guess what happened. I booked my first night in this campground, and 2 weeks after, here I am, cooking for myself, eating by myself with nothing and no one but the birds and critters around me. Now, some people might find this a boring camping experience because I didn't do anything wild, or some might not even consider this as a true camping at all because I wasn't staying in a tent. Well, fake camping or glamping, call it whatever you want. All I can say is I will enjoy camping and nature the way I like to. So, after trying it out today, I realized that I definitely want to do this more often. In the past 10 years, my life has been about my beautiful little family that God has incredibly blessed me with, and I love that at the end of every trip, I still have our sweet little cozy home to go home to. And although I will never have my life any other way, I guess it doesn't hurt to go out there and have some time for myself, even just for 24 hours. It's very refreshing to the soul, to the mind, body, and heart, and it made me realize that self-care comes in many forms, and that you can do it literally anywhere.